Okay, good morning everyone. Now we are in mechanical actuating systems. Okay, we already have completed different types of mechanisms and inversions of mechanisms and cam mechanisms. Okay, and about gears in previous classes. Okay, today we will discuss about gear trains. Let me start. Today we will discuss about gear trains. You know, already you have learned about gear trains and gears in com subject, kinematics of machines. Just I remind, just recollect all those information from these classes. You know what is the purpose of gear train? Gear train is a combination of two or more gears used to transmit motion from one shaft to another shaft. Okay, and gear train may consist of different types of gears, maybe spur gear, bevel gear, or helical gear, or spiral gear, whatever it is. Okay, it is the combination of two or more gears to transmit the motion from one shaft to another shaft. Based on the arrangement, we have different types of gear trains. Okay, those are simple gear train, compound gear train, reverted gear train, and planetary type gear train. Now we'll see one by one. First one is simple gear train. Okay, in simple gear train means in which there is only one gear on each shaft. See the diagram. Okay, here we have three gears. Gear 1 is mounted on one shaft, and gear 2 is mounted on another shaft, and gear 3 is mounted on another shaft. Means each shaft carries only one gear, and the power is transmitted from gear 1 to gear 2 and gear 2 to gear 3. So here gear 1 is the called driver, and gear 3 is called driven. Okay, means the power is transmitted from the driver to driven gear. So this type of arrangement is called simple gear train. Means each shaft has only single gear. Then it is called simple gear train. Okay, the gear ratio is depending on the teeth on these gears, each gear. Okay, see this. The velocity of the gears, the ratio, gear ratio is depending on the teeth on the each gear. So we have a formula here. Overall gear ratio is speed of the driver by speed of the driven. The speed of the driver is depending on the number of teeth on the driven gear, and the speed of the driven is depending on the number of teeth on the driver gear. Means the ratio of the number of teeth on driven by number of teeth on driver is nothing but overall gear ratio. Means these are the teeth is the inverse of the velocity of the gears. See this. Omega 1 and omega 2 are the angular velocity of the gear 1 and gear 2, and T2 and T1 are the teeth on the driven and driver gears. Okay, based on this, we can find the gear ratio. Gear ratio is very important in gear trains because we need more gear ratio for better transmission of power from one gear to another gear. And second gear train is compound gear train. Okay, in compound gear train, there are two or more gears on a single shaft. Okay, in previous simple gear train, we have only one gear on each shaft, but in compound gear train, a shaft has one gear. So look figure. Okay, gear 1 is mounted on one shaft, and gear 2 and gear 3 are mounted on same shaft. Means a single shaft comprises two gears. Okay, such type of arrangement is called compound gear train. Means the power is transmitted from the driver gear to gear 2, and the gear 2 to gear 3, and gear 3 to gear 4. Means with the help of gear 3 mounted on the shaft is has same gear. Gear 2 is also on the same shaft. Okay, such type of arrangement is called compound gear train. Okay, simply if one shaft consists of more than two gears, then the such type of gear train is called compound gear train. So the gear ratio is depending on the intermediate gears, means gear 2 and gear 3. By changing the teeth on the gear 2 and gear 3, we can change the gear ratio of the compound gear train. See this here. Omega 1 is the velocity of the driver, omega 4 is the velocity of the driven, means first gear and last gear. Okay, here the velocity ratio is depending on the teeth on the driver, driven and the intermediate gears. Here you can see this T2 by T3 means the teeth on the second gear and teeth on the third gear, means intermediate gear. Okay, we can adjust the gear ratio by changing the teeth on the intermediate gears. Okay, the main advantage of the compound gear is we can get more gear ratio by changing the gear wheels of the intermediate shaft. So this such type of arrangement is called compound gear train. We get more advantage than simple gear train. Next one is reverted gear train. This is the third type of gear train. Here reverted gear train means if the axis of the first and last gears are coaxial, it is called reverted gear train. Means, see the figure here, this one is the gear 1. Okay, means the driver, this is the gear 4, that is driven, means the driver and driven on the same axis, means both are coaxial. If you arrange the gear train such type, then the gear train is called reverted gear train. Means the drive is from driver to gear 2 and gear 2 to gear 3 and gear 3 to gear 4. If you arrange the driver and driven in the same axis, okay, such type of gear train is called reverted gear train. See this here, the gear ratio is depending on the teeth on the four gears. Okay, T1, T2, T3 and T4. But here we have a condition for reverted gear train, that is the sum of the radius first gear and second gear should be equal to the sum of the radius of third gear and fourth gear. Means gear 1 and gear 2, the radius of gear 1 and gear 2, sum of the radius of gear 1 and gear 2 should be equal to the radius of the sum of gear 3 and gear 4. Then only reverted gear train is possible. Okay, simply reverted gear train means the driver and driven are arranged on the same axis. Such type of arrangement is called reverted gear train. Next one, last one is planetary type gear train, or it is also referred as epicyclic gear train. Here we have three parts. One is gear 1 and gear 2, and we have an arm. This is called planet arm. Okay, here we have two arrangements. One is we can fix the arm and we can fix the gear 1. If you fix the gear 1 and gear 2 is rotated around the gear 1, means gear 1 is like a sun and gear 2 is like planet, means planet is revolving around the sun. If your arm is fixed, okay, and the drive is transmitted from the gear 1 to gear 2, and both gear 1 and gear 2 are rotated, and gear 1 transmit the power to the gear 2. Okay, if you fix the gear 1, just gear 2 is rotated around the gear 1 with the help of arm. Such we have two arrangements. Okay, arm is fixed and gear 1 is fixed. Okay, based on that we can arrange the formulas. Okay, if arm is fixed, okay, this is the formula, means omega 2 minus omega 3 by omega 1 minus omega 3 is equal to minus T1 by T2. Okay, here omega 3 is 0. Omega 3 means velocity of the arm. Omega 3 is velocity of arm. Omega 1 is the velocity of the gear 1 and omega 2 is velocity of the gear 2. If arm is fixed, it means velocity of the arm is 0. Omega 3 is 0. Then the ratio of the velocity is depending on the teeth on the gear 1 and gear 2. Okay, if you consider the velocity of the arm, then the velocity ratio is depending on the teeth and the velocity of the arm. Okay, these are the formulas. If you fix the gear 1, means the velocity of the gear 1 is 0, then the formula is arranged like this, means the velocity ratio of the gear 2 and arm is considered if gear 1 is fixed. Okay, this formula is when arm is fixed. Okay, we are taking the velocity ratio as velocity of the gear 2 and velocity of the arm. If gear 1 is fixed, velocity of the gear 1 is 0, and we consider the velocity ratio as velocity of the gear 2 and the velocity of the arm. Okay, these are the formulas for the epicyclic gate train. Okay, now I will show a video, okay, for better understanding of the gate train. See this. First one is the simple gate train. Okay, simple gate train means each shaft has a single gear. Second one is gear compound gate train, means one shaft consists of two or more gears, then it is called compound gate train. You can see this type of arrangement in gearbox. Okay, automobile gearbox, we have such kind of arrangement, compound gate train. Riveted gate train means, you know, the driver first gear and the last gear are on same axis, means coaxial. This is the driver, this is the driven, both are on same axis, means coaxial. Then it is called riveted gate train. You can see this. Okay, last one is epicyclic gate train. See this, this is the gear 1 and gear 2. If arm is fixed, okay, both gear 1 and gear 2 are rotated. If gear 1 is fixed, one gear means the planet gear and the arm is rotated around the wheel. Okay, this is like sun, this is like planet. That's why it is called planetary gate train. Okay, and we can arrange not only two gears, we can arrange more than two gears in planetary gate train. See this. Here, this is the center wheel, and we have 4 planet gears. Okay, and 4 planet gears are attached to the center gear with the help of the planet arms. Okay, this is called planetary gate train. All these gate trains are used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. This is about gate trains. Okay, and now next we see next mechanism that is used in mechatronic system is a ratchet and pawl mechanism. Ratchet and pawl mechanism. Okay, it is used to transmit the intermittent rotary motion. Okay, it transmit the intermittent rotary motion, means it transmit the rotary motion in step by step. Okay, and it allows the gear in only one direction only. Okay, see this. Every ratchet and pawl mechanism has 2 parts. That is, this is the ratchet wheel and this is the pawl. Okay, ratchet wheel has a teeth on the periphery of the wheel, and the ratchet wheel is locked with the help of pawl. Okay, here the ratchet wheel is rotating in only one direction only. The reverse of direction rotation is not possible in ratchet and pawl mechanism. Means there is no possibility for reverse motion. Okay, suppose this ratchet mechanism is used in weightlifting. See this, the weight is lifted with the help of ratchet wheel. This is the pulley. Okay, here we have a rope. Rope is connected to the load. Okay, if the wheel is rotating, the load is lifted. Suddenly, if you stop the wheel, there is no reverse motion for the ratchet wheel. Means the weight is always moving upward only. There is no reverse to the, because of this pawl and ratchet mechanism. Means pawl and ratchet mechanism only allows the rotation in only one direction only. Okay, now we see the arrangement. This is the pawl and ratchet mechanism. See this video, you can easily understand the ratchet. Okay, this is the ratchet. Okay, the ratchet is ratchet wheel. This is locked with the help of pawl. This is the pawl. The pawl is always spring loaded. Okay, see this. The ratchet is moving, and every step by step, for every step, the wheel is locked with the help of a pawl. Okay, the wheel is always rotating in only one direction only. Okay, it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction here. So there is no possibility for rotation in clockwise direction. So this is the main advantage of the ratchet and pawl mechanism. See this. Okay, means we can transmit the rotary motion in intermediate, means step by step, by using ratchet pawl mechanism. This ratchet pawl mechanism is also used in shaper machine for feeding the table, for moving the table. Okay, we are using ratchet and pawl mechanism. Automatic feeding of the piece, we are using ratchet and pawl mechanism in shaper machine. Okay. This is the teeth wheel ratchet and pawl. Pawl is for locking the wheel. Means it allows only one direction. Okay. This is about ratchet and pawl mechanism. Next, we have belt drives. Next topic in mechanical actuating system is belt drive. Okay, you know about belt drives. Okay, belt drive is used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. Okay, and through pulleys. Here, any belt drive consists of three elements. One is driving pulley, and driven pulley, and endless belt, which of them. Okay, means the driving pulley and driven pulley is connected with the help of a endless belt. Okay, and the pulleys are mounted on the shafts, and they are locked to the shafts by the help of keys. Okay, and to avoid the split between the pulley and belt, we are creating some initial tension, and the power transmission of the belt drive is depending on the velocity of the belt and tension in the belt and arc of contact between the belt and pulley. Based on these three factors, the power transmission by the belt drive is depending. One is velocity of belt, second is tension in the belt, and third one is arc of contact between the belt and pulley. Okay, and see this. This is the belt drive. Here we have two pulleys, pulley A and pulley B. Here pulley A is the driving pulley and this is the driven pulley. Both are connected with the help of endless belt, and the belt has two sides. One is tight side, means the power transmission is done in the lower side. So this is called tight side, means this tight side always in under tension. And second one is loose side, that is slack side. Okay, here always the upper part is the slack side. The torque transmitted by the belt drive is depending on the difference between these two tensions. Tension on the tight side minus tension on the slack side decides the torque transmitted by the torque, means force transmitted by the belt drive. See this, the torque on the pulley A is on the T1 minus T2 into radius, you know. Okay, tension into force into radius, nothing but torque. Force is under tension. Okay, in terms of tension, that's why T1 minus T2 into RA is the torque on the pulley A, and torque on the pulley B is depending on the difference between the tensions on tight side and slack side. Okay, so these torque is depending on the difference between the tensions between tight side and slack side. And one more thing, power transmitted by the pulley is depending on the tensions, means torque. So power is nothing but tension in torque into angular velocity. Okay, you know the torque is nothing but T1 minus T2 into R, means tension on tight side minus tension on slack side into radius of the pulley. Okay, at the same time the power transmission is depending on the ratio of the tensions. Okay, T1 by T2, and T1 by T2 is depending on the mu and theta. Mu is the coefficient of friction, theta is the angle of contact between the pulley and the belt. Okay, if there is a more friction between the pulley and the belt, they can transmit more power. Okay, there is more angle of contact between the pulley and the belt, means they have more contact surface, they have more friction, means they can transmit more power, because T1 and T1 by T2 is depending on the tension ratio, is depending on the coefficient of friction and the angle of contact. In this way, the power transmission is depending on the tensions in the belt and the friction between the belt and the pulley. Okay, see this. Here we have different types of belts. Now we see one by one. Okay, first type of belt is based on the cross section of the belt. We can divide it into four types. One is flat belt, second one is V belt, round belt, and timing belt. We have four types of belts based on the cross section of the belt: flat belt, V belt, and round belt, and timing belt. First one is flat belt. Flat belt is the cross section of the belt is rectangular. The cross section of belt is rectangular, and the efficiency is of flat belt is 98%, and we have one condition for flat belt: the distance between two shafts should be not more than 8 meters. Then we are using flat belt drives. Okay, and second one is V belt drive, means the cross section of the belt is in V shape, means trapezoidal shape. See this, we have three types of belts. This is the flat belt, means the belt cross section is rectangular shapes. Okay, second one is V belt. V belt means the shape of the belt, cross section of the belt is V shape and trapezoidal shape, not 100% V shape, and there is a gap between the pulley and the belt. This V belt drives are used for short distance. If the distance between two shafts is less, we can use V belts, and V belts can transmit more power when compared with the flat belt because there is a more contact between the belt and pulley, so they can transmit more power, but we have restricted the distance between the shaft should be short for a V belt. And third one is rope belt, means circular belt. Here the belt is, the cross section is a round, means circular cross section. Okay, here this rope means rope like. The rope is arranged in the groove. Here the pulley is has the groove, okay, and the circular belt is moving in the groove, and more contact is there and more friction is there. It can transmit more power when compared with the flat and V belt. But here the main thing is this is also used for increasing the power transmission. We are using rope drives. Okay, and the rope drives usually preferred for when distances between the centers of shafts are long. If the shafts are distance between two shafts is long, then we are using circular type of rope belts. And last one is timing belts. Okay, here to avoid the slip, we are using a belt which is in the shape of teeth. Means the belt is made with a teeth. Means the belt has teeth. Okay, here means the belt is manufactured certain teeth. The teeth are arranged with the teeth on the wheel. So here this is a pulley with teeth, and belt also has the teeth like rack and pinion mechanism type. But these are made up of rubber. Okay, belt material. Okay, this is called timing belt. Means we can avoid the slip between the pulley and the belt. This is used for low power transmissions, but for accurate transmission without slip, means positive displacement. Okay, toothed wheels like gears, means they are made up of rubber only, but they have tooth. Okay, this is used for positive drive, means there is no slip. For avoiding the slip between the pulley and the belt, we are making the timing belts. These are the four types of belts used in industries. Okay, flat belts are mainly used in like small scale industries, mills, rice mills. We are using flat type of belts. Okay, next belt drives. Okay, we have different types of belt drives here. That is open belt drive, crossed belt drive, and quarter ton belt drive. And now we see one by one. Open belt drive. Open belt drive is this one. This is the open belt drive. Okay, here two pulleys are connected with the endless belt drive like this. Means there is no open type. Means the belt simply we are just arranging the belt like this. Then it is called open type belt drive. Okay, and it is used when shafts are arranged in the parallel. So when two shafts are parallel, for transmitting the motion between these two shafts, we are using open belt drive. Okay, next one is cross belt drive. Means we are arranging the belt in this direction. Means we can change the direction of the wheel. Okay, by changing the belt drive to cross belt drive. Means here A is rotating clockwise, P is also rotating. Means we are arranging a cross belt drive. Okay, it is used when driven pulley is to be rotated in the opposite direction. If you want to change the direction of the driven pulley, we are arranging the cross belt drive. Okay, in open belt drive, both belt drive. This is also called right angle belt drive. Okay, in previous belt drives, the pulleys are, the shafts are in parallel condition. But in quarter ton belt drive, the shafts are in rectangular position, means those are not parallel. Okay, the shaft, this is the axis of the shaft. The shaft is arranged like this, and the second shaft is right angle to the first shaft. Okay, the shafts, axis of the shafts are perpendicular, means not parallel. Then we are connecting these two shafts by using quarter ton belt drive. This is also called as right angle belt drive. Okay, for maintaining the tension between the tension in the belt, we are using a guide pulley. Okay, here the shafts are in rectangular position. Then by connecting these two shafts for transmitting the power from one shaft to other shaft, which are arranged in the right angles, we are using quarter ton belt drive. This is the third type. And fourth type is belt drive with idler pulleys. Belt drive with idler pulleys. See this. Here, for increasing the tension, for maintaining the tension in the belt drive, we are arranging some idle pulleys. Means the idle pulley is also, there is no, the only use of the idle pulley is to support the belt. Okay, it not transmit any power, but it maintains tension in the belt. And to adjust the power transmission, we are using the idle pulleys. Okay, based on our requirement, we can arrange so many idle pulleys. Here only we are arranging only one idle pulley. See this, here we have so many idle pulleys. 1, 2, 3, 4 idle pulleys are required to maintain the tension in the belt. Okay, this kind of arrangement is called belt drive, idle pulley type belt drive. And next one is compound belt drive. Compound already, you know, compound already I explained about compound gate drive. Similarly, here one shaft consists of more than one pulley, then it is called compound belt drive. Means see this, intermediate shaft has more than one pulley. Okay, here we require two belts for connecting the first pulley 1 and 2. We have one belt, and we need one more belt for connecting the third pulley and fourth pulley. Okay, if you arrange the belt drive in this manner, this is called compound belt drive. Means one shaft consists of more than two pulleys. It is called compound belt drive. Based on the transmission and requirement, we are selecting the belt drive. Next one is loose and fast pulley belt drive. Okay, see this. Here one shaft consists of two pulleys. One is loose pulley, second one is fast pulley. Here, if the belt is connected to the loose pulley, the power is not transmitted from the shaft 1 to shaft 2. There is no power transmission. Means here the loose pulley is just rotating. Okay, there is no connection between the pulley and the shaft. Means there is no transmission between the pulley and the shaft here. Okay, if we need power transmission between the shaft 1 and shaft 2, we are connecting the belt with fast pulley. Means if you connect the belt between the first shaft and fast pulley, then only power transmitted is done through this fast pulley only. Means loose pulley is just idle pulley. If you want to stop the rotation of the second shaft without stopping the motor, we are using loose pulley. Okay, this arrangement you can see in planar machine. Okay, and the last belt drive is cone pulley type belt drive. Cone pulley type belt drive. Here, this cone pulley type belt drive is used for varying the speed of the belt drives. Means for obtaining the different various speeds, we are using cone pulley type belt drive. Means every shaft has 3 steps. Okay, here see this. The pulley has 3 steps. Okay, the diameter is varying. Okay, similarly here also we have 3 steps. Okay, based on the requirement of the speed, we are arranging the belt and we are varying the belt in these steps. Okay, we need more speed. This is the driving shaft. This is the driven shaft. Okay, we need more speed. We are connected the small step in the driven shaft. If you want to decrease the speed, we are connected to the major step of the driven shaft. So for various speed, for getting various speeds, we are using cone pulley drive. Okay, these are the different belt drives used in industries. Next, we see the advantages of the belt drive. Okay, here we have so many advantages. Okay, first one is the belt drive is very easy and flexible design and easy to manufacture. Means the cost is less when compared with the chain drive and the gear drive. Okay, and one more thing is there is isolation between the driver and the driven system. Means there is no vibration or shock transmission from the driver and the driven. But in case of gears, if there is any shock in the driver, it transmitted to the driven. But the flexibility of belt is a like elastic material, so it can absorb the vibration. That is the one of the major advantage of the belt drive. And next advantage is, okay, we can change the pulley sizes by varying. We can change the speed by using cone pulleys. Means varying speed is also possible with the help of cone pulley drives. And one more thing, there is no need of lubrication in belt drives, so we can decrease the expenses on the lubrication. Means in gate drive we need lubrication, but in belt drive we don't need any lubrication. And maintenance is relatively convenient. Means we can use, that's why we are using belt drive in small size industries, because maintenance cost is less. And the last one is very quiet when compared with the chain drives and spar gears. Okay, means noise getting in belt drive is somewhat less when compared with the chain drives and gear drives. These are the main advantages why belt drives are chosen in small scale industries. And the selection of belt drives. Already I have given so many types of belt drives. Okay, here we have some factors. Based on those factors, we are selecting the different belt drives. One is speed of the driving and driven pulleys. Based on the speed, we are selecting the belt drive. Okay, based on the velocity ratio and based on the diameter of pulleys and the space availability, we are choosing the different types of belt drives. Okay, and the arrangement of shafts. If the shafts are parallel, we can choose the open type and the cross type belt drives. If shafts are in right angles, we are choosing quarter turn type belt drives. And the center to center distance. If the center to center distance is less, we are choosing a V belt drive. The distance is more, we are choosing belt drives. The distance is very high, then we are choosing rope drives. And power transmission. Based on the power transmission, we are choosing the belt drive. So we need, okay, we need more power transmission. We should maintain the more friction between the pulley and the belt. And one more thing, positive drive. Means we need positive drives. Means we are, if you want to avoid the slip, we are using timing type belt drives. Okay, based on the environment and service conditions also, we are choosing the different types of belt drives. So selection of belt drive is depending on the our space availability and power transmission and environment, and our according to our application. Okay, we are choosing the better belt drive, okay, for efficient use. And I will show some belt drives. See the use of belt drive. Here this is the open type, this is the cross type. See this. Here these are the idle pulleys. Means just they maintain the tension between in the belt. These are, we have 4 idle pulleys here. Okay, we can arrange so many mechanisms with the help of belt drives also. These are the different belt drives. Belt drives are used for different mechanisms. See this. Okay, we can convert the rotary motion into oscillatory motion by using belt drive also. Okay, here the shafts are rectangular position. Even we can transmit the power from the shafts by using belt drives. Okay, these are the different belt drives used in the industries. For the movement of the slide also, we are using belt drives. Okay, these are the different applications of the belt drives in industries. Okay, next one is chain drive. Okay, the main problem with the belt drive is slipping. Means there is a slip between the pulley and the belt. And one more thing, there is no positive drive means because of slip we are losing some power and we are losing some velocity also. So for avoiding that disadvantage, we are go for chain drive. Okay, chain drive already you know because in our bikes we are using chain drives. Okay, chain drive has a sprocket wheel. Okay, it has some teeth on periphery of this wheel, and we have some chain links. Okay, engaging of these chain links causes the transmission of power from the different sprockets. So here the main advantage of the chain drive is here we can avoid the slip. Okay, and positive drive is possible. Positive drive is possible by using chain drives. That is the main advantage of the chain drive. Okay, disadvantage is they are heavy when compared with the belt drives. The weight of the chain drive is high when compared with the belt drives. And second one is stretching of chain is every time we need to remove the links because the chain is stretching every time. So we have to remove the links for avoiding the slipping. Okay. And one more thing, for producing the chain drives, we need more cost means of the production of cost of chains are very high when compared with the belt drives. Okay. And last one is maintenance is also very high when compared with the belt drives. Because of these disadvantages, we are not choosing chain drives in industries. Okay. Only few cases where the positive drive is required and we need to avoid the slip, then only we are choosing chain drives. Otherwise, we go for belt drives. Okay, this is the chain drive. These are called sprockets, sprocket wheels. Okay, this is a chain. You know, chain drive because every automobile means every bike we are using chain for transmit of power from the engine to rear wheel. Okay, only chain drive is required when you want to avoid the slip. Positive drive is required where you go for chains. This is the chain drive animation. Okay. Please, I will allow you to unmute yourself. And if you have any doubts regarding belt drives and the gear trains, you can ask. Sir, if you have any doubts, please ask me. You can unmute yourself. Hello. 66. What's your doubt? 90.
సార్ ఎంత పొరపాటున వచ్చేసింది సార్ రైజ్ హ్యాండ్ చేశాను.
ఓకే ఓకే ఇందాక కట్ అయిందమ్మా
అవును సార్.
క్లాసు. ఓకే ఓకే కాలేజీలో ఉన్నాం, కాలేజీలో పవర్ కట్ అయింది.
ఓకే సార్.
మాకు ఆల్రెడీ కాలేజ్ ఓపెన్ అయింది, మీకు ఇంకా అవ్వలేదు అంట. ఓకే
సార్ మా కాలేజ్ ఓపెన్,
మీకు టైం ఉంది. ఓకే ఏమా ఎనీ డౌట్స్ రిగార్డింగ్ బెల్ డ్రైవ్స్ అండ్ గేట్ ట్రైన్స్? ప్లీజ్ ఆస్క్ మీ. హలో, ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్స్ ప్లీజ్ ఆస్క్ మీ.
ముందు మూర్తి గడ్డ చూసుకో సరేనా, పెళ్ళి కురుకో వెళ్ళు.
Okay, ma. Next one is bearings. This is the last topic in mechanical actuating systems. Okay, you know what bearing? Bearing is a stationary machine element which supports the rotating shafts. Bearings are used to support the rotating shafts, axles, okay, and also used to confine their motion. Means is used as a supporting for rotating shafts and axles, and also confines the motion of the shafts and axles. Here the bearing is the stationary element. Okay, you know what is bearing, what are the different types of bearing. Just I remind, okay, different types of bearings and use of bearings in this particular concept. Okay, here we have the different classification of bearings are there. Okay, based on the type of loading, we can classify the bearings into two types: radial bearings and thrust bearing. Okay, first radial bearings and thrust bearings are the first classification based on the load. See this. This is a radial bearing, means the load in radial direction. Means this is the shaft. Okay, this is the axis of shaft. Means the load is perpendicular to the axis of the shaft. Means radial direction. Okay, the load on the shaft in radial direction. Then the bearing is called radial bearing. Okay, if the load in axial direction, means the load is acting in the along the axis of the shaft, then it is called thrust bearing. Okay, here the load is in radial direction, here the load is in axial direction. Okay, means we are arranging some collars for the bearings in thrust bearing. Okay, these are the first type of bearings, radial bearing and thrust bearing based on the load. And the next one is based on the nature of contact. Based on the contact between the shaft and the bearing, you can classify into two types: sliding contact type and rolling contact type. Means the shaft is directly contacted to the surface of the bearing, okay, or bush of the bearing, then it is called sliding contact type bearing. Means there is a direct contact between the shaft and the bearing surface. Okay, second one is rolling contact. Means the there is a between the shaft and bearing surface, we are arranging some anti-friction elements like balls and rollers. We arrange the balls and rollers between the shaft and bearing surface. Such type of bearings are called rolling contact bearings. So these are also called as anti-friction bearings. Okay, based on the nature of contact, you can classify into two types: sliding contact type and rolling contact type. Direct contact type is sliding contact. If there is a, we are using balls and rollers between the shaft and bearing surface, these are called rolling contact type bearings. Okay, and you know, journal bearings. Okay, next one is we will discuss about journal bearings and other type of bearings. Okay, already it's 10:47. Okay, I will continue in next class. If you have any doubts up to now, please ask me.